Welcome to Self-Control and Stress Management for the spring semester. I'm Dr. Williams and I will be your professor for this semester. I am open up to the class and I'm in the Start Here menu, which you can get to by just clicking here on the left sidebar. But this is pretty much where you'll open up to the class. Normally when you enter into the class on Play-Doh, it enters in on the announcements page. But this is the first place I want you to go is Start Here. So I've put a little bio about myself in here. Traditionally, if we were in person, I would introduce myself, obviously, and tell you a little bit about me. And so this is my attempt to do that with you online. Just put a little bit about myself, my family. I have two kids, August and Ruby. They are 13 and 7. And I'm actually homeschooling both of them this year. Fun times. I also have a dog named Brewster and my husband Travis. So that's my family. I tell you a little bit about my background, school and such, so you can read up on that. But once you have yourselves acquainted with me a little bit, then you're going to want to get acquainted with the class. So here's the syllabus for this semester. I recommend printing it out and having it by you. It's always helpful to have it where you can access it very quickly and easily. So good to print it out if you can. But look it over very carefully, read everything, and if you have any questions about guidelines, policies, dates, due dates, anything like that, please just email me. Here's the textbook information. There's two texts that we're going to be using for the class. This is the main text by Harrington. So this is a chapter by chapter textbook which covers the base material for the class, all about stress, health, well-being, striving, thriving, coping, all the concepts that we're going to be talking about throughout the semester. And then this is a additional book that I'm going to have you read. It's more of a popular book, but it's based in all research. It's by Kelly McGonigal. It's called The Upside of Stress. So you can find this at Barnes & Noble or Amazon or anywhere really. They also have it on Kindle and Audible. So if you're an auditory learner and you'd like the book read to you, you have that option as well. I would recommend the print copy only because there's some assessments in the book that you can take and will be taking over the course of the semester, and you might want to have those handy where you can actually look at them. Is helpful. But we're going to be using this in addition to the main textbook to zone in more on mindsets when it comes to stress. So really one of the goals I have for the class is helping you to change your mindset when it comes to how you view stress. And in doing so, you gain a little bit of self-control. You gain a little bit of control back. In a time that's stressful, we often feel like we have no control. Things are out of our hands. We can't do anything. Like a time with COVID. We often feel like, well, what can I do? I'm at the mercy of, this disease, this pandemic. And so sometimes we can really be led astray by that, and our anxiety can increase and our stress level increases. So one of the goals for the class is really to get you to rethink your stress. Stress is a normal occurrence. It can actually be good for us, but it can also be really bad if we don't know how to respond to it or have very poor coping strategies for doing so. Reading this book is going to help us understand a little bit more about the history of stress and how to transform our stress a little bit in our daily lives. So those are the two books. I've also included some instructions on how to cite sources. So anytime you're writing in my class on the discussion boards, you're going to want to cite your sources. So when you're pulling material from either of those textbooks, you'll want to cite where that came from, and you'll want to do it properly in APA format. So this is just a quick document, 1 page, to show you how to do that. I've also put some campus resources. If you're not familiar with what's available to you, this might be helpful. Counseling, the Reading and Writing Center, which does a ton of workshops, a lot of them online now. Support services and accommodations through Bonacos, academic skills programs. So that's all very useful for the class as well. How to email me. I'm just a big stickler on, making sure that I know who you are when you email me. I have 4 online classes this semester with over 120 students. So anytime that you email me, which I encourage you to do, please tell me who you are and what class you're in. That's going to immediately help me to help you. And then just all the proper info is good, proper greeting and things like that. I've got some different documents here that you can check out. WSU policies on academic honesty and plagiarism, some stuff about grammar, and then how to do a discussion board post. So half of your grade roughly is going to be based on postings on discussion boards. If you were in person with me, we would be writing a lot of this in written responses. For the purposes of an online class, it's actually kind of great because you can post your answers to questions that I'm going to be posing each week, and then everyone else gets to read those, and then you get to comment on other people's posts. So make sure you look over the rubric really carefully on how I would like you to do that, what your posts should look like, what they should include. Each week you're going to be responding to some questions that I pose in the weekly folders, and then you're going to be commenting on 3 other people's posts, okay, their responses. And there's specific ways that I want you to do that, and things I'm going to be looking for. These are elaborate, okay? These are written responses, so they're meant to be inclusive. They're meant to draw on your knowledge of what you're reading and what you're learning in the class. I want to see you guys using the concepts, definitions, terms that you're learning and infusing those into your writing as you're answering the questions and as you're commenting on other people's posts. So these should take you a fair amount of time. One thing I always say is if they're taking you less than 10 minutes or 15 minutes, maybe even 20 minutes, you might not be putting enough effort in. So that might be a good first gauge, but I would definitely advise you to check the rubric, as that's going to be all inclusive as to what you should be having on your posts as you're posting them. I've also put some information on note-taking and reading, as well as multiple choice test taking tips. This is a class where you will be taking your tests online and they are multiple choice. So if that's not your forte or you struggle with that, there's some tips here that I think are super helpful in how to go about that. And then as well, just how to go about reading for the class. What are the best strategies for taking notes? I give you lecture slides each week, and I'll tell you more about that in the week 1 tab and week 2 tab. But the lecture notes are meant to accompany the reading. So kind of knowing how to read, what to pay attention to, and what to take notes on is really important. So don't take this for granted and assume that you know. I would definitely just check this out. It'll take you all of 5 minutes and see if that might not be helpful for you for this semester to get off to a good start. Okay, that is it for the Start Here menu. The next place you're going to go is to week 1. So all the weeks are going to show up as we cover them. So you're not going to see week 2 and 3 and 4 yet. They won't appear for you because we haven't gotten there yet. You'll see week 1 and you can click into there, and that's where you're going to go for your first week of material for the class. Aside from that, you'll have your grade window here. Any help you need with Play-Doh, if Play-Doh is not working appropriately for you, that's where you would go. You can submit a help ticket to get questions answered with Play-Doh. I can't help you with Play-Doh issues, so if you're having trouble logging in or it's not letting you have access to something, that's where I would go. I will also say that you don't want to be using Safari as your browser if you have a Mac. It will not work well. So Firefox or Google Chrome are probably the better options for a browser. So please be using those. The discussions will appear as we have them. Each week you'll see those. Again, announcements, and then the communications tab. If I click into here, here's all my contact info, how to get a hold of me. This is the best email here. If you need to Zoom with me, I do have a Zoom link set up for Mondays and Wednesdays. I actually need to change this time here. It's going to be from 2:30 to 4. And I just need to know ahead of time if you want to Zoom so that I can get on and be ready to go for you. So again, email's the best option. If you feel like you want to meet face-to-face, we can definitely Zoom. Just let me know ahead of time and I can set that up for you. Aside from that, in the communications tab here, there's an Ask Dr. W forum. If you have a general question that pertains to the class that other people might benefit from hearing my response, you can post it there and I will respond. If you want to talk with other students, aside from me, there's the student lounge. That's discussion back and forth between students. You can set up study groups. You can ask questions of each other. Also super helpful. I wouldn't use this messages link. In fact, I'm going to hide it just because there's a lot of problems with it, with Play-Doh not giving me those messages. So I'm actually going to get rid of that. But that's pretty much it for just the contact and communication information that you're going to need for this semester. So again, once you finish here, you're just going to head over to week 1 and get started on the material. I look forward to having you all in the class and just for a really great semester for 2021.